Guys,
What is it, son?
you're not gonna believe this.
Oh, no way.
Wow.
Is that a diamond?
At last, the moment has come. After more than 200 years of digging, doubting, diving, and daring to dream, the Oak Island treasure has finally been uncovered.
That elevation was 7 feet below sea level. This is another 3 feet beyond. And we know that the deeper you go, this log, it is possible that this is much older than this.
As reported by the History Channel, this isn't just another hint or artifact. It's the real treasure itself. The centuries-old mystery that has captivated historians, conspiracy buffs, and millions of fans across the globe might truly be settled. But how did we arrive at this point? What was actually unearthed? And why does it hold such importance? Let's dive into the remarkable tale behind North America's most legendary treasure hunt. The 200-year obsession. Oak Island is a tiny scrap of land sitting just off the coast of Nova Scotia, Canada. Blink from above, and you'd miss it. Only about 140 acres, peanut-shaped, rimmed with rocky shores, tidal flats, and thick pine forests. But what it lacks in size, it more than makes up for in mystery. The legend begins in 1795, when a teenager named Daniel McGinnis spotted a curious dip in the ground while wandering the island. Intrigued, he and a few friends began to dig. What they uncovered were layers of logs, stacked at regular depths, as if forming a man-made shaft. The deeper they went, the more certain they became. Something was buried here, and whoever hid it didn't want it found. That strange hole earned the name Money Pit, and it's been fueling obsession, heartbreak, and danger ever since. Over the next 2 centuries, wave after wave of treasure seekers tried their luck. Companies were ruined. Fortunes disappeared. At least 6 people lost their lives in the attempt, giving rise to a chilling legend. A 7th death must occur before the island finally yields its secrets. Meanwhile, the mystery only grew more baffling. Digging revealed more wooden platforms. Flood tunnels seemed to spring open from nowhere, filling excavations with water. Tools vanished. Carved stones appeared with cryptic markings, including one rumored to say, 40 feet below, 2 million pounds are buried. The deeper people dug, the stranger things became. So what exactly was supposed to be hidden there? Well, that depends on which theory you believe. For some, it's classic pirate loot, perhaps the fortune of Captain Kidd or Blackbeard. Others insist it could be Marie Antoinette's lost jewels, smuggled out of France during the Revolution. And then there are the more fantastic ideas. A Knights Templar vault, Shakespeare's lost manuscripts, or even sacred relics like the Holy Grail or the Ark of the Covenant. Outlandish? Maybe. But Oak Island has never been short on speculation. By the 20th century, the hunt had escalated into something much bigger. Professional engineers arrived. Massive drills, cranes, and steel caissons ripped into the earth. Millions of dollars vanished into the mud. In the 1960s, treasure hunter Robert Dunfield went all in with heavy machinery, digging over 100 feet and leaving behind a giant crater. Though he never struck gold, he uncovered more signs of elaborate underground engineering. Tunnels, flood traps, fragments of wood and metal. Then came Dan Blankenship, a war veteran turned full-time treasure hunter who practically gave his life to Oak Island. He lived there for decades, surviving brutal winters and financial strain, clinging to the belief that the truth lay below. He partnered with others who shared the dream, but the prize always stayed just out of reach. Everything shifted in 2014, when the History Channel launched The Curse of Oak Island. What was once a niche mystery exploded into a global obsession. Millions tuned in as Michigan-born brothers Rick and Marty Lagina invested their energy, fortune, and passion into cracking the code. Alongside them came an ever-changing team of experts, archaeologists, historians, drill operators, and metal-detecting pros. The show often moved at a snail's pace, to say the least, but it delivered genuine discoveries. They pulled up strange old coins. They unearthed centuries-old timber far below the surface. They found crossbow bolts, mysterious carved stones, and even a lead cross that some claim ties back to the Templars. Season after season, the digs brought both revelations and setbacks. Oak Island itself became more than just a patch of ground. It stood as a symbol of human persistence, the endless urge to uncover meaning. Why keep digging? Because maybe, just maybe, something extraordinary was waiting below. And now, if the latest reports from the History Channel are true, that something has finally been unearthed. So how did the mystery at last unravel? Scientific endeavors and modern technology. For centuries, treasure hunters relied on brute force and blind luck. They dug until they hit water or rock, hoping the next scoop would strike gold. But starting in the late 20th century, and accelerating with the launch of The Curse of Oak Island, the hunt transformed into something far more sophisticated, a full-on scientific expedition. The Lagina brothers didn't just bring enthusiasm, they brought experts, archaeologists, geophysicists, engineers, drillers, forensic anthropologists. Over time, their team became less like a group of adventurers and more like a multidisciplinary task force. Their mission wasn't just about treasure, it was about understanding what happened on Oak Island hundreds of years ago, and how. First came ground-penetrating radar, GPR. This allowed the team to scan beneath the surface without digging, revealing anomalies, voids, tunnels, and possible man-made structures hidden deep underground. Combined with LiDAR, light detection and ranging, they could map the island's surface and subtle terrain changes, detecting clues that had been lost to centuries of erosion and vegetation. Next up was sonar and seismic scanning, especially in and around the Money Pit and Smith's Cove. These tools revealed something shocking. The underground wasn't just filled with mud and debris. There were large geometric voids, some up to 20 feet tall, beneath the surface. One of them was eerily symmetrical, with signatures suggesting the presence of metallic elements. But scanning is only part of the process. Once you find something promising, you have to dig, or at least drill. That's where core sampling came in. Teams would drill deep into the earth and pull up samples to analyze. This is how they discovered things like ancient coconut fiber, bits of parchment, fragments of bone, and metal shards. Not treasure in itself, maybe, but proof that something, or someone, had been down there long before modern explorers ever set foot on the island. One of the most intriguing discoveries came from carbon dating. Wood samples pulled from deep underground were found to be from the late 1600s to early 1700s, decades, even centuries, before the island was discovered. That supports the theory that something was hidden deliberately and expertly, long before McGinnis and his friends stumbled onto it in 1795. And then there's the geochemical analysis, led by experts like Dr. Ian Spooner. By testing the chemical composition of water and soil samples from various boreholes, Spooner's team detected high concentrations of gold and silver in the earth, particularly in an area now known as the Garden Shaft Zone. The levels were so high, in fact, that he went on camera stating it was not naturally occurring. In other words, something valuable had been buried there. All these techniques, scanning, drilling, dating, sampling, came together to tell a story. This wasn't just a natural sinkhole. There were chambers, tunnels, wood-framed voids, possibly booby traps, and traces of precious metals exactly where the theories said they would be. The deeper the team dug, literally and figuratively, the more they found. Of course, there were setbacks, equipment malfunctions, weather delays, permits, and government regulations. And always, the looming sense of disappointment that maybe, just maybe, it was all smoke and mirrors. That maybe the treasure was a myth, or worse, a hoax perpetuated by earlier diggers. But then came the breakthrough in late 2024. Multiple core samples pulled from the Chamber X area revealed not just high trace metals, but actual solid metallic objects. The team didn't go public immediately. They waited, tested, consulted outside labs. And when everything lined up, the History Channel dropped the bombshell. They had found the treasure vault. The footage was held back until the current season, but insiders confirmed what was coming. What they had pulled up wasn't just a box of coins or a golden goblet. It was a structure, sealed, ancient, and deliberately hidden. And inside, a mix of gold, silver, and what some are calling non-native alloys, the kind used in ceremonial or religious artifacts from centuries past. Now, the world wants to know what exactly was inside that vault. If the treasure has finally been found, then what did they actually uncover? Was it gold, religious relics, Templar secrets, or something even stranger? The moment of discovery. What was found? So what's causing all the excitement? After more than 2 centuries of speculation, setbacks, and relentless digging, the History Channel confirmed it. The elusive Oak Island treasure has been uncovered. And it's even more extraordinary than anyone expected. The breakthrough happened deep within the money pit. Inside a hidden chamber the team has dubbed Chamber X. The first hints came from advanced scanning equipment and core samples, which detected metallic signatures that didn't match anything naturally occurring. When excavators finally broke through the last layers of stone and sediment, they revealed a vault-like space reinforced with ancient wood and metal supports. What they saw inside stunned everyone. The chamber held large quantities of gold and silver artifacts, coins, chains, and intricately crafted ornamental pieces. But the true shock came from items of cultural and religious importance. Among them was a beautifully carved cross made of a mysterious metal alloy, possibly gold, silver, and another element yet to be identified. Experts quickly suggested a possible link to medieval Christian orders such as the Knights Templar. The discoveries didn't stop there. A set of scrolls and parchments, carefully wrapped in a lead container, were also unearthed. Fragile but legible, these texts appear to be written in several languages: Latin, Old French, and even coded scripts. Early analysis hints that they may include maps and instructions describing how to build the pit's intricate flood tunnel system. If true, these documents could be the key to understanding not only the treasure, but the engineering genius behind it. Equally astonishing were the chamber's structural features. Evidence of advanced engineering far beyond 18th century capability was found. Stone and metal mechanisms resembling gears and valves, apparently designed as part of an elaborate locking or trap system. These devices may finally explain the infamous water traps that thwarted so many earlier expeditions. Even more startling was the discovery of human remains, carefully placed within niches in the chamber walls. Dating back hundreds of years, these bones may have belonged to the original builders or guardians of the vault. Their deliberate placement suggests a ritualistic or protective role, intensifying speculation about secret societies safeguarding their legacy. Adding to the mystery, walls and artifacts bore symbols strikingly similar to Masonic designs: compasses, squares, and other geometric motifs. This immediately reignited long-standing debates about whether Oak Island was tied to the Freemasons or their predecessors, the Knights Templar. To complicate things further, not everything found matched the ancient timeline. Scattered among the relics were oddly modern-looking items, including small metal tools and pieces of fabric. These anomalies have sparked cautious theories that Oak Island wasn't just used once, but revisited and repurposed across different centuries by multiple groups. One of the most talked-about objects is a small chest, reinforced with iron bands and sealed with a mysterious lock. When opened, it revealed dozens of gold coins, some marked with dates and insignia from the early 1600s. These coins could rewrite what we know about trade routes and contact between Europe and the New World before official colonization. Rick Lagina, the treasure hunter who has been leading the charge on the History Channel series, described the moment they opened the vault as a mix of disbelief, awe, and overwhelming excitement. Marty Lagina added, "For years we've dreamed about this moment, but it's even more incredible than we ever imagined." Dr. Ian Spooner, the geochemist who helped analyze the samples, said in an exclusive interview, "The complexity and craftsmanship here are off the charts. Whoever built this was no amateur. This was meant to last and to be found only by those worthy." Craig Tester, the engineering expert on the team, emphasized how the discovery challenges long-held assumptions. This site changes everything we thought we knew about early North American history. The technology, the cultural ties, it's staggering. Since the announcement, teams of historians, archaeologists, and conservation experts have been working around the clock to carefully catalog and preserve the artifacts. Because the treasure chamber was submerged in water and mud for centuries, many items are fragile and require painstaking restoration. There's still a lot of mystery around the exact origin and purpose of the treasure. Was it pirate loot hidden for safekeeping? Religious relics smuggled across the Atlantic? Or a secret stash belonging to an ancient brotherhood? Only time, and some serious decoding of those scrolls, will tell. What's clear is that Oak Island's legend has finally transformed from hopeful myth into tangible reality, and the world's eyes are on this tiny island off Nova Scotia like never before. But how did a reality TV show become the platform for such a groundbreaking discovery? What role did the History Channel really play in turning this centuries-old mystery into modern-day science and entertainment? The role of the History Channel. When most people picture treasure hunts and ancient mysteries, the mind usually jumps to rugged explorers with shovels, picks, and metal detectors. But with Oak Island, things took a very different turn. The History Channel completely changed the game, transforming what was once a small obsession for a handful of enthusiasts into a worldwide sensation. Before The Curse of Oak Island hit screens in 2014, the hunt for the island's treasure was mainly a curiosity passed around between dedicated treasure hunters, passionate historians, and local storytellers. Yes, there were books, rumors, and the occasional documentary, but the show pushed the mystery into the global spotlight, pulling in millions of viewers eager to join the adventure. Rick and Marty Lagina, the brothers who became the show's central figures, weren't scientists or trained archaeologists. They were just two siblings from Michigan who carried a lifelong passion for history, along with a personal family connection to Oak Island's mystery. Their natural enthusiasm made the show addictive, but the real strength came from the diverse team they built. Historians, geologists, engineers, and scientists equipped with cutting-edge technology. What the History Channel brought to the table wasn't just airtime and cameras. It was critical funding and logistical muscle. Excavations, scientific testing, and specialized equipment cost a fortune, and without the network's backing, many of the discoveries that shaped the hunt would likely never have happened. Of course, mixing science with television was never simple. The show constantly had to balance two very different goals: keeping the audience on edge with suspense and drama, while also staying faithful to the reality of research, which can be painstakingly slow. That balance wasn't always perfect. Some critics argued that discoveries were stretched out to maximize drama, or that dead ends were quietly glossed over. Even some of the experts involved admitted that the pressure to create good television sometimes conflicted with the patient, methodical pace of archaeology. Behind the camera, producers had to make tough choices about what to show and what to leave on the cutting room floor. After all, treasure hunting isn't all adventure and excitement. Much of it is mud, missed targets, and endless digging. Even so, the Curse of Oak Island achieved something remarkable. It built a massive global community of fans and amateur historians. People from around the world swapped theories, debated ideas, and even made pilgrimages to Nova Scotia to see the island for themselves. The surge in tourism gave the local economy a huge boost, turning what was once a quiet region into a lively hub for visitors and history buffs. Then came the groundbreaking moment, when the History Channel officially confirmed a treasure discovery in 2025. The announcement didn't feel like just another TV stunt. It came with exclusive footage, expert interviews, and detailed lab analyses, the kind of credibility few expected from reality television. By choosing to work hand-in-hand with scientists and historians, the network managed to elevate the story from a sensational headline to a serious historical breakthrough. The press release highlighted the channel's mission to bring history to life through authentic discoveries, while also teasing future shows focused on analyzing, preserving, and understanding the treasure's significance. Ratings skyrocketed, cementing the History Channel as the go-to destination for this style of investigative history. At the same time, the event sparked bigger conversations about how media should handle real historical findings, and about the need to balance entertainment value with scientific integrity. In truth, the History Channel didn't just cover the Oak Island treasure hunt, they made it possible. Their investment, patience, and willingness to commit years of programming allowed the right technology, expertise, and resources to finally converge. Which leads to the bigger question: beyond the gold and artifacts, what does this discovery actually mean for history itself? Could it reshape what we know about early explorers, hidden societies, or even the beginnings of settlement in North America? Historical implications of the treasure. Now that the treasure has finally been unearthed, the real question becomes, what does this mean for history? For centuries, Oak Island's legend has been tangled in myths, rumors, and wild theories. But the artifacts and relics now being brought to light could reshape parts of what we thought we knew about the early story of North America, and maybe even the wider world. One of the most fascinating and hotly debated possibilities centers on a link to the Knights Templar. Those mysterious carvings on the stone cross, along with the Masonic-style designs discovered inside the vault, have historians buzzing with speculation. The Knights Templar were a medieval Christian military order dissolved by the Pope in the early 1300s, but countless legends claim they fled with treasures, relics, or sacred knowledge. If these Oak Island symbols truly connect to them, it could mean that secret groups crossed the Atlantic centuries before Columbus, or any officially recorded explorers ever set sail. That possibility opens up an entirely new narrative. Perhaps Oak Island was never just a treasure stash, but a hidden sanctuary. A vault designed to preserve wealth, relics, or knowledge during Europe's most turbulent times. Then there are the coins and documents, some of which appear to date back to the early 1600s. If authentic, they predate many well-known colonial settlements and could upend what we know about European exploration, trade, and colonization. Were there undocumented voyages that slipped through history's cracks? Did travelers secretly stash valuables here to protect them from wars, revolutions, or political turmoil back in Europe? Maybe even during the chaos of the French Revolution. The discovery of religious artifacts, including crosses, scrolls, and sacred symbols, also raises deeper questions. Could missionaries or religious orders have reached this land earlier than scholars believed? Was the vault connected to clandestine missions by groups like the Jesuits or other secretive societies operating under the radar? And then there's the engineering marvel itself. The flooding traps and intricate tunnel systems beneath Oak Island suggest knowledge far beyond what typical 18th century settlers could have achieved. Whoever built them clearly had advanced resources, planning, and technology, enough to create one of the most elaborate treasure vaults ever discovered. If proven, this craftsmanship could force historians to rethink the transfer of engineering skills and knowledge between Europe and the Americas. Adding another twist, Masonic symbols were also uncovered, pointing to a possible link with the Freemasons, a secretive brotherhood that rose in prominence in the 1700s. For centuries, the Freemasons have been connected with hidden knowledge, coded messages, and legendary treasures. If Oak Island was their stronghold or vault, it would lend powerful support to theories that they were actively protecting artifacts of immense value and meaning. It's almost certain that these discoveries will send historians, archaeologists, and even conspiracy theorists rushing back to examine old maps, manuscripts, and ship logs with fresh perspective. Institutions and governments may even launch new research projects, determined to trace the origins and context of what's been uncovered. But beyond the mystery and intrigue lies a very real modern question. Who actually owns this treasure? Because Oak Island is part of Canadian territory, the government of Nova Scotia has already expressed interest in safeguarding the site as a public heritage landmark. Yet private investors and the descendants of past treasure hunters may have their own claims. Sorting out ownership, legal rights, and even the authority to tell the story could easily become a high-profile battle all its own. Ultimately, this discovery reinforces a powerful truth. History is never as final or as tidy as the textbooks make it out to be. Oak Island shows us that, buried beneath the surface, both literally and metaphorically, there are hidden stories waiting to challenge our assumptions about who arrived first, what they carried with them, and what they believed was worth protecting. And of course, a find this sensational will always attract skepticism and debate. What do the critics have to say? And, perhaps most importantly, how will the treasure hold up when tested by the full weight of scientific and historical scrutiny? Criticism, skepticism, and alternative explanations. With a discovery this big, it's no surprise there are plenty of skeptics and critics weighing in. After all, Oak Island has a long history of hopeful treasure hunters coming up empty-handed. Some people are still hesitant to accept the History Channel's announcement at face value. First off, some historians caution against jumping to conclusions based on the initial findings. They argue that while the artifacts and metals found are undeniably interesting, we need more rigorous peer-reviewed research before rewriting history books. The parchments, scrolls, and symbols might require decades of analysis before their true meaning is understood, or might turn out to be forgeries or misinterpretations. Critics also point out the potential for confirmation bias. The Lagina brothers and their team have invested years and millions of dollars, along with the hopes of millions of fans. Some argue It's easy to see what you want to see when you're emotionally and financially invested. Could some of the evidence be the result of wishful thinking? Another common critique comes from archaeologists who question whether the site's complicated flooding system was truly engineered by humans or is a natural geological phenomenon. While modern technology can detect tunnels and voids, the interpretations of their origins remain subject to debate. Skeptics have also expressed concern about the media-driven nature of the discovery. Reality TV, by its nature, emphasizes drama and suspense. Some worry that producers might prioritize entertainment value over scientific accuracy. This means key details could be exaggerated, downplayed, or omitted altogether. Then there's the possibility that the treasure is not what it appears to be. Some alternative theories suggest the vault could be a centuries-old pirate stash, less about holy relics or secret societies, and more about plundered goods from ships sunk off the Atlantic coast. If so, it wouldn't rewrite history so much as add a dramatic footnote. Others propose that Oak Island was a smuggling or piracy hub, with tunnels designed to protect contraband rather than treasure. That would still make it historically important, but a different story from the religious or secret society theories. Conspiracy theorists, of course, have their own spins. Some claim the treasure is a cover-up for something far bigger, like government secrets, alien artifacts, or lost ancient technology. While entertaining, these claims lack credible evidence. Still, despite the doubts, many experts acknowledge that the discovery has merit and deserves careful study. Even if the treasure isn't exactly what legend promised, the physical evidence proves something significant was hidden on Oak Island, and that in itself is a historic breakthrough. As the artifacts undergo conservation and detailed examination, more scientific papers and reports are expected. This process will either confirm the current theories or lead to new insights. Either way, the skepticism is healthy. It pushes researchers to be thorough and transparent. The History Channel team has welcomed external experts to review their findings, showing a commitment to scientific integrity. This openness helps build trust and sets a positive precedent for media-driven archaeological discoveries. After centuries of mystery, billions in investment, countless theories, and now a real discovery. What does the future hold for Oak Island? What happens next in the greatest treasure hunt of all time? Legacy and cultural impact. Beyond the treasure itself, Oak Island has earned a lasting place in modern culture. Over the decades, and especially with the popularity of The Curse of Oak Island, the mystery has inspired books, documentaries, YouTube investigations, podcasts, online forums, and fan theories from every corner of the world. It's no longer just a search for gold. Oak Island has grown into a symbol of human curiosity, determination, and belief. The lure of hidden wealth, combined with whispers of secret societies and forgotten knowledge, taps into something timeless in us. The dream that extraordinary wonders might lie buried just beyond our reach. For Nova Scotia, the impact has been both cultural and economic. Tourism has flourished, with visitors flocking to the region not only for sightseeing, but also to feel connected to a living legend. In doing so, Oak Island has helped shine a global spotlight on Canada's maritime history. In many ways, this centuries-long saga reflects the pattern of a classic hero's journey. Ordinary people answering a call, facing setbacks, enduring trials, and ultimately uncovering something far greater than they imagined. Whether you come for the history, the thrill of discovery, or the human drama, Oak Island has managed to deliver all three. The future of Oak Island. After centuries of speculation, failed expeditions, and endless debate, Oak Island's treasure is no longer just a tantalizing myth. With the History Channel's confirmation of the discovery, the legend has transformed into a tangible, world-changing reality, one that is actively rewriting history before our eyes. What lies beneath the ground isn't just precious metal. It's a time capsule filled with clues about explorers, secret societies, and forgotten events that could redefine what we know about the early history of North America. These finds challenge our assumptions about who came here, when they arrived, and the sophistication of the knowledge they carried with them. Yet the story is far from finished. In many ways, it feels like it's only just beginning. Now comes the long and meticulous work of conservation, research, and interpretation. Every scroll must be decoded, every artifact analyzed, every piece of evidence carefully placed into the larger puzzle. This process could take years, even decades. Meanwhile, the island itself will likely become a protected heritage site, drawing in experts, researchers, and curious travelers from across the globe. It's a powerful reminder of what happens when persistence, science, and legend intersect. At the same time, Oak Island stands as a cautionary tale. Generations of treasure hunters have left behind not only moments of discovery, but also disappointment, environmental scars, and bitter legal disputes. The way this newfound treasure is preserved and shared will set the tone for how future discoveries are handled around the world. And still, the mystery may not be fully solved. The elaborate traps, intricate tunnels, and hints of multiple chambers suggest there could be more secrets waiting beneath the island. One thing is undeniable. Oak Island has captured human imagination in a way few stories ever have. It proves that the greatest treasures aren't always the gold or jewels, but the stories, mysteries, and thrill of the search itself. Whether you're a devoted follower of the Lagina brothers, a skeptic holding out for more proof, or simply someone who loves a good adventure tale, Oak Island's saga is far from over, and we're all part of the unfolding journey.